Just this weekend, we are getting the brand new Lord Ezareth, as well as the best summoner to pair him with, Elise. Now, I've already made extensive testing videos on both of them, which you guys can obviously check out. But there's one area I didn't really touch on, and that's because I needed more time to figure it out, which is going to be Malrik. So what I'm going to be going into is, does Ezareth work in Malrik? I know a lot of people don't have VALARA, and if you don't have VALARA, you're very, very limited. So what do you use instead? Well, there's really nothing else that works, but because his damage is somewhat comparable to hers, albeit a little bit less and a bit more conditional with more requirements, he still does a lot of really strong AoE damage. So the question is, does he work in Malrik? I'm going to be showing you guys two teams. One of them is going to be a normal team that has like some meta units, but not really all the meta units. And then I'm going to be showing you guys a team that uses a lot more, premium heroes. And we're going to go through and see, do they work on level 3s? I would have tried on level 4s, but my test server doesn't have one. So I have to apply for them to be dropped into the account. So I can't run it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this level 3 Mossy Crystal first. There's 3 different modifiers here. One of them is we're going to get a Giant Golem Platform Killer position 1, which is going to be the top left. Then we're getting increased ally damage taken by 25%. And then for 10 seconds after the first revival, Scorched Destroyer cannot be blocked. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a couple different things. First of all, we have to deal with the bottom. This is where we're going to be trying Ezareth. Ezareth, all you have to know about him is he has a couple things going for him. He has one mode that he does damage, and he does a big burst hit, hitting 10 enemies from far away, doing lots of AoE damage, but this requires a couple stacks, which is where the other form, the Devourer mode, is going to come, where he eats a summon. So what this means is, if you use Ezareth, you have to have him with a summoner, which is where the next unit we're going to be bringing in, which is Valise, which is coming very soon. So she's going to be there. Beatrix works as well, but I do recommend picking up a copy of her. She's really good even on her own. Basically, she summons 3 units at a time, and they last permanently until doing a certain amount of attacks, and then they will linger around. And while they're lingering, if Ezareth is on the field, they will go to him, and he can eat them, which is going to give him the stacks, which allows him to do damage. Very important. Now, beyond that point, we also have Malvira. Malvira is basically the same as Gone, who I use on my Malrik calls personally, because she gains extra block by 3, so a total of 7 block if you use a Bastion Ring, which you should, on the bottom, which is great. She also does a little bit of damage, and she has a pull and a shield. She's very tanky. She's very, very good for this. Then we have our healers. Elowen or Airless is recommended because they give rage. And then Nerissa is great because she's able to heal people outside of her range and work well with Moradin, who we're also going to use. He's going to be our top left unit. Wukong's going to be at the top, and I'm going to show you guys a little tech with Valise that actually gives him a little bit of help. Then we got the Lord and Tank. We have Valeria and Mari. Mari is just kind of the flex slot. You can kind of put whatever you want, but she's just there as a safety net. And Valeria is there for the modifier that makes it so that we have to kill the boss after the first revival, because they can't be blocked, so we have to kill it. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go in, and I'm going to try to explain this a little bit as we go, and try to, piece together if he's really good or not. So first of all, what we're going to do here is we're going to place Ezareth, and then we are going to place our Malvira right in front. As you can see, Ezareth has 2 out of 5 stacks when he's spawned, and he's going to continuously do them every 5 seconds. When we're on 2x speed, it'll be 2.5, obviously, because, double the time is passing. And as soon as that happens, and he uses all of his stacks, he no longer is going to really be doing damage. So we need to switch him, and then have him eat the guy. So as you can see, under 50% HP, he eats them completely, and they disappear off the face of the earth. And then he has a long cooldown before he can eat again. But we need Valise, because if you're going to use Ezareth, especially in level 4s, you're going to need a summoner on the field, right? Because it gives him stacks, which is very important. Now, something else we could do is we could also put Moradin up here. And then we're going to do a little tech with Moradin, which not everyone knows about, where if you use Nerissa and you give him the mark, even if Nerissa's ult range, or not ult range, attack range to heal isn't covering this tile where we're going to move our Moradin, because tacticians move, he's actually going to keep that mark when he moves, so he'll always have a source of healing, which is very, very nice. Now, something else we're going to do is we are also going to put down our healer. Element works as well, obviously, and we're going to swap Ezareth and send out police. Now, because Ezareth is in the eating form, he's actually going to eat the summons and gain 2 stacks. And we're going to leave him there until he gets enough stacks to build up to about 5, which is what I'm hoping for, and we'll see what happens. Now, we're going to place Wukong at the top. Wukong's very good. He's getting healed by Nerissa, which is good, and he can actually ult there. Now, something you may see is Valise's summons actually move all the way up, and they target up here. So even if you're lacking a DPS, because the biggest downside I'm looking at Ezareth for is the fact that you need a summoner with him, which means you gotta put another unit here. So for level 4s, you're not gonna have enough slots to place everyone, really. And also the top is going to be hurting a little bit because the top is very difficult. But Valise is actually going to hit them from all the way down here, which is pretty damn cool. Going in here, we're going to place down our Torador, and we're just going to keep this going. As you can see, the summons are just going everywhere on the map. It's crazy how far they go. I mean, even if you don't have Ezra, you really want to pick up Valise. Valise is very, very good. As you can see right there, we're doing a lot of damage, and then we're going to swap, and he's going to go out and smack them really hard. That's just kind of what we got to do. Valise will ult every single time, and then Ezareth we can swap whenever the enemies start coming in, and start doing very good amounts of damage. That's basically the whole point. And this is going to go that way for a while. We're just going to keep this going and just do what we can. So here I'm going to move Moradin up a little bit, and he's going to help a little bit, but like I said, Valise does a good job. And we're just going to go through with this the entire fight. We're going to swap Ezareth every time we need to eat a summon. We're going to click our Valise ult every time, and that's how it's going to go. Now, Scorched, what's it freaking called? Devour is coming in, and we're going to chunk it. I put Valeria down just for some extra damage there as soon as it spawns, because it is not going to be blocked anymore. So we're going to ult with everyone up here and chunk it down. So now it's dead. And then we can sell Valeria. And yeah, so one more time, and then I will skip kind of towards the end, and then we'll try the other team. It's basically just, you know, if you have both of them there, you're going to kill just fine. But the reason why it doesn't work on super high level Malrik calls with certain modifiers is because the top is very difficult. All right. The bottom, you generally use VALARA, and she solos everything with 1 DPS, 1 tank, 1 healer. That's all you got to do. Then at the top, even if you stack a bunch of DPS, you can't really get the amount of damage that you really want. And that's a big issue that I see with Ezareth, is because it's not VALARA soloing everything, you got to have 2 units. So even if it does help the top, that's the one downside I'm seeing here. But, you know, maybe Ezareth could even be up here. You see this tile above Torador? You put the tank in front here, you put Ezareth there, facing left, and you're good. Now, Valise did just die because the rock guys killed her, but this works great for level 3s and things around there. So I'm going to skip, and we're going to try the other team. And now we get to where I'm no longer going to be limiting myself by heroes, apart from no VALARA. I also want to try out no Valise, because I know I always use Valise with Ezareth, and inevitably not everyone's going to pull Valise if they have Ezareth, right? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using Cyrus. This frees up the bottom, so we no longer need to have 2 DPS. We only need Cyrus and Ezareth. But, of course, for level 4s, I'm not entirely sure if his damage will be good enough, so I'm going to be showing off Magda as well. You do not need Magda. Instead, you could do something like an Ardea up top instead with that spare unit slot, but I'll explain that as we get into this fight. So, going in, what we're going to do is we're going to immediately place Ezareth. Now, Ezareth could go here, right? But if you're going to be using Magda on the bottom because you're struggling a little bit, you don't have enough damage on the level 4, whatever it is, you could actually put Ezareth up here, which is very cool. Then we're going to be placing Cyrus right here, and Cyrus is so good. I know I talk about how, Felice is super good, the best with Ezareth, blah, 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 blah. I would argue that Cyrus is equal in terms of quality with him. So as you can see, you could spawn 2 skeletons at once. Not only that, the ult cost is very low. Not only that, Esso is one of the best factions right now for stuff like Moradin and Neja, who are really good in Malrik calls. And so he feeds, and he's a good lord. Now, as you can see by this, after we're done with these enemies, here, let me just place Magda right there. Magda is going to give a penetration and damage increase buff to Ezareth. What we can see is Ezareth is going to swap. He's going to consume this enemy, because it's below 50% HP, and also the 2 skeletons. And he's going to get pretty much max. Now, he didn't eat the enemy immediately, but now, as you can see, he has eaten it, and he's at max stacks. And he's given Cyrus 5% rage for every single skeleton, because 10% for cultists, 5% for other units, and now we can place down another Cyrus skeleton. And this is without the rage regener. With the rage regeners, it's even higher, which is crazy. So, yeah, I mean, Cyrus is bonkers good with Ezareth, and by adding Magda, we have a little bit of flexibility here as well that can be sorely needed. By giving Ezareth more damage, and also making it so that we have a knockback for the bottom, which is good because we also have the Frostburn here as one of the modifiers, and we need all the help we can get with block, especially because we have 1 less block. So there's a lot of things happening. I know it's a bit confusing, but all you gotta know is Cyrus is goated with Ezareth, and Ezareth is going to be good even without Felice, which is amazing. Now at the top, what we're doing here is as soon as Moradin gets his ult back, I'm going to move him back to the top left because, Cyrus and Magda and Ezareth are all kind of expensive, so I needed to kind of manage the cost a little bit, but that's okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to shred through everything on the bottom, and then at the top, we're going to move Moradin. Now here is where we get to the level 4 theory crafting. So as you can see, we have 1 available deployable slot left, which is going to be not there for level 4s. For level 4s, you can only place 8 units, which means you would have 2 on the side. Ajax here, I know I'm not going to place. He's just there for the unnamed damage boost. On the other hand, for level 3s, you can actually put an Ardea down, or something along those lines, to do some extra damage. Now, if that isn't the case, and you need a little bit of extra top damage, maybe the down damage is fine and you don't need Magda, you could swap Ezareth and Magda placements and completely get rid of Magda. And in that case, you might just be fine, because you can just eat a ton of Cyrus skeletons, eat, place down another one, that's another one he can eat whenever the hell he wants, swap him, does damage. I mean, you don't really need Magda on the bottom. I just wanted to show off a couple different strategies that are not going to be immediately readily apparent the second you think about Ezareth in Malrik calls. I just wanted to show off a couple different strategies, okay? So with that, we're just going to breeze through this entire thing. I'm going to go probably until, maybe 1 or 2 more waves. This is just kind of theory crafting, right? Here we're going to do another Cyrus skeleton, and he's spawning them so fast, we can't even use enough stacks before we have full stacks again, which is crazy. So, Ezareth, very good. Cyrus or Felice are amazing. If you don't have Cyrus, use Valise or Beatrix. Beatrix is good as well. And then if you do have Cyrus, I think Cyrus is honestly amazing for this. So keep that in mind. Now, with that out of the way, that is how you use Ezareth in Malrik halls. I think he's very good. I think he's the second best bottom DPS. The best obviously being VALARA. Every time it's always VALARA. And if you don't have VALARA, he might be good for you. So, yep, with that out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm just going to end it here. And I wish you the best of luck with your summons. See you later. Destined signing out.